Okay, so we're back with Brian Craig from Indium Corporation, and thank you for coming in.
You're very welcome. Good to see you.
Yeah, and my first question to you is, what is the research work you're doing with KATEK Group?
So one of the wonderful things that we've been able to do is Indium sort of looks for solutions to problems. Right. And one of the great things you can do is if you can find somebody, a customer, who's willing to help you with finding a solution to a problem, you've really got something you can work with.
Yep.
And the challenge that KATEK was having was that they make automotive modules,
yep.
So complex automotive modules. And if you have a complex automotive module, typically you want a vacuum oven to make sure that you reduce all the voiding on the components, particularly flat bottom components. When you have a component, a module that's not got such complexity, but you have one or two products that may have voiding,
yeah.
The challenge is you don't really want to put that through or invest in a full-scale vacuum soldering system.
Yep.
So what we did with them is we worked with them to develop a process and materials using the flux-coated preform technique that we have, okay. LV2K it's called. And we were able to optimize with them our product and their process to eliminate the voiding, almost eliminate the voiding on those special components.
Okay.
So what they've done is they've put together this program where they're sharing what we did with the data, both with KATEK and with Indium. And there's a presentation that was here this morning on that, to really share that with the industry, because investing in a vacuum oven, that's a big commitment.
Significant.
So if we can, no offense to the vacuum oven people, there are reasons why they have those too.
Yeah.
But if we can help other people solve those solutions using a technique with flux-coated preforms, I think we've got something that's useful to the industry as a whole.
Yes.
And if we can do that, the whole industry benefits.
Right. So you're basically you're coating the balls with that flux avoidance.
Well, it's usually with a
flux chemistry that avoids.
Yes.
Voids.
Yeah. So you actually, when it comes to soldering with a flux preform, you don't need very much flux.
Yep.
It just has to do its job to remove the oxides and activate things and to
yep.
make the solder work.
Yeah.
And so making sure that you've got just enough flux, the right type of chemistry to make sure you're not increasing any voiding and you're getting great wetting between the surfaces that you're bonding, I think is something that's really useful.
Right.
And the whole industry can benefit from this, at least in the power module world, which is one of our focus areas.
Yeah. No, that's very, very, very helpful. So you can afford to do that presumably with companies that are doing relatively short runs on things.
Special products, short runs, and unusual designs.
Yeah. Okay. So let's turn our attention very quickly to the automotive industry. You do a lot of work in the automotive industry. What are the current trends coming out?
Power. So we've got this, no doubt many of your audience, and you've heard of this Rely On program that we have, which really focuses at the whole e-mobility market. So when we talk about automotive nowadays, it's not just the car, it's the infrastructure that goes around making the electrically powered car move.
Right.
And so charging stations and booster stations and transformers and things like that, converters. And so the amount of power that's needed as the powertrain of the vehicle increases, so hybrid electric, 12 volt, 48 volt, full electric vehicles, you need to be able to switch things on and off very reliably, very quickly.
Yes.
And that means that the power modules are becoming, the demand on power modules is increasing all the time. So high reliability means things like, I talked about it already, the low voiding, high reliability solder joints, no cracking, nothing going on, and it's going to go through a large number of cycles as these things are switched on and off for years.
Right.
No maintenance, no issues, nothing.
Right.
And so the trend really in the automotive industry is the infrastructure part of supporting that, getting the power to recharge batteries, and also the reliability of making sure they work all the time, every time.
Every time, yeah. It's an incredibly important area, and it's only going to get worse. Do you think they're going to extend the boundaries for testing? I mean, it's currently minus 40 plus 160, isn't it?
Well, yeah, minus 40 plus 150, 165 is the next one. So yes, and the number of cycles within that. So there's talk about that, and typically when we do our reliability testing and we work with our customers who do the same, we're trying to make sure that we're exceeding the demands of that testing all the time, as you would expect. So nothing, no rocket science there, but we want to ensure that the solder joints that we're helping people produce are able to handle not only what's needed today, starting with 125, then 150, 165 is next. Those applications are demanding, and we want to make sure that we're well ready and well ahead of the curve when it comes to helping people develop their processes.
Yeah, great. Well, it's a fascinating area, and I want to thank you for coming in and telling us about some of the projects you've been working on.
At Kaizen, we know it's the science that makes the difference. The right solutions happen when you care enough to ask the right questions. And we understand that your performance is directly related to ours. Science knows why it works, care knows why it's important.